and you're by yourself, think of this. My desire. What is it without my commitment? And what is my commitment without my desires? This has been a spaz of realness here on KWDC LP Stockton, 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton.
KWDC LP Stockton, 93.5 FM.
KWDC Gaming here, coming to you live on 93.5 LPFM, Stockton, California, in Studio 146G in Delta College campus. Hitting you with up-to-date information pertaining to video games that you love. We're gamers and we're for gamers. So check us out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And somebody was saying something. All right. You are listening to KWDC Gaming here right on 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. I am your host for today, Donovan Mazuski, here with
Joey
and Joshua.
You guys' names both start with a J. I just realized that. I don't know why. I just realized it's kind of right. The first part of the name, right?
It's got good alliteration to it. Sounds nice coming out of the mic.
Right. Well, as you may have guessed, if you have not ever heard our show, you're hearing it for the first time now, I will explain it to you. Today it's KWDC Gaming. As you can imagine, we talk about video games and the like. Today is Wired Wednesdays. I mixed it up and I tried to put this other name in there, Hit and Jump Hump Day, but nobody could remember it or no one knew how to say it. So we're just gonna go back to Wired Wednesday. It's a mark of shame on my part. I'm bad at names.
Yes, you are.
But on Wired Wednesday, we like to do, personally, I like to throw a little indie in there. So as you can imagine, I've done that, for today. You'll see that later on. But of course, we just like to stream a nice, steady stream of gaming news. You're probably wondering, hey, what's that interesting sound I hear in the background? It sounds like music, right? Music. Well, that's music. It's from Rainbow Six Siege, the new Rainbow Six game that just came out yesterday, right? It was yesterday. Yesterday. I think, what was it at 6 or was it earlier?
9.
Was it 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Things are coming out at 9 nowadays because it releases at the same time across the country. So when it releases at midnight on the East Coast now, stuff comes out at 9 over here.
So 9 is a globally kind of acceptable time for us.
Yeah, for us in California and Washington and anybody on Pacific time, but everybody else has to wait later than we do.
Oh, we get it first. That's nice. So Rainbow Six Siege, a lot of people are talking about. As you can imagine, we're going to be part of that. A lot of people were going to mention it. We have some reviews for the game. Very interesting. I really like Rainbow Six Siege because it brings an element of gameplay that you don't really see in shooters. I mean, you might think of a game like a Battlefield, which was way more, personally I feel way more intuitive than Call of Duty, or you might talk about a game like Arma, where it's very realistic in the way that you have to get up, you have to travel places, and you have to you can't just go in and out like that.
It's super hardcore. Arma is the hardcore of the hardcore when it comes to first-person shooters.
Really?
Or shooters in general, because you can play in third person, but
I want to say Arma 2, but didn't Arma 3 come out?
No, Arma 3 is out.
Yeah, a while ago, huh?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
A couple years? Wow,
yeah.
I'm behind on that one. I want to get Arma. I don't know. Have you played it?
Yeah, I play a ton of Arma.
Arma, do you play it now?
Yeah.
Would you say, in your ranking of top 10 military games, is it up there?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Definitely?
Yeah, it provides a totally different type of, combat style that you don't see anywhere else. You know what I mean? We're talking about combat ranges from, 300 meters and up with your regular assault rifles. It's actual warfare. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Troop movements, and you see people on a mountainside hella far away.
Yeah.
And you just you
gotta scope them out. You really have to know what's going on. You can't just there's a little glowing map that tells me where everything is, and no matter what I do, I'm gonna win. It's really cool, and especially the multiplayer of Arma, the way the radio works and it crackles and the guns, it's very, very awesome. You don't see that anywhere else, except for there's one game called I think it's called Hunted or Hunter, or there's this wrong name. It's kind of like Arma in the first person sense. If you go to first person Arma, the way you play it, very similar to this other game. I can't remember the call of the name. I'm definitely going to mention it when we come back. But yeah, Rainbow Six, we're going to talk about that a lot. Among other indie games, I forgot the title of some of the games we're going to be talking about. But there's some interesting news about Grand Theft Auto 6 that people have been blaring all about.
Tons of rumors about Grand Theft Auto 6 already.
Yeah, and then like they barely
like Grand Theft Auto 5 just came out.
Yeah.
People are already like trying to figure out what the next one's going to be.
I guess people figure, hey, they made the other one just like Grand Theft Auto 4 when that came out. They were already working on 5. Yeah. But anyway, this has been KWDC Game. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 6 and Rainbow Siege.
The KWDC Gaming Show.
This is Sick and Twisted from the Gaming Crew. Don't forget to check out our Facebook and Twitter if you missed part of the show or just want to leave a comment or question for the Gaming Crew at KWDC Gaming.
Red Defender, you've got to help us! Mole Man has fired his darkening missile towards the sun! It'll put the world in shadow!
Don't worry. Too late to catch the missile. I'll just fly quickly around the Earth in reverse time.
The Red Defender begins to circle the Earth faster and faster until his momentum literally changes Earth's rotation on its axis.
I'm back, citizens. No need to thank me. Strange. It's dark in the middle of the afternoon. And where is everyone? You, old man, with a flashlight.
I was young just a minute ago.
I must have gone the wrong way and sped up time. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Saving the world isn't easy. Saving a life is. Just 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. To find out more, go to bloodsaves.com. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Alec Baldwin. There are lots of ways to show you have style. Wearing fur isn't one of them. Each year, millions of animals are drowned or beaten to death in the wild, or gassed or electrocuted in captivity for their coats. Cruelty is one fashion statement we can do without. Please help the animals by joining People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
To find out how you can help, visit furisdead.com or call 757-622-PETA.
200 years ago, Lewis and Clark discovered the West. That is, if you don't count the millions of American Indians who discovered it first. Because Lewis and Clark left one civilization only to find dozens of others that, despite everything, are still here today. Walk with Lewis and Clark at lewisandclark200.org and see what you discover, because their trail winds through us all.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
KWDC Gaming Show.
And we are back here on the KWDC Gaming on the 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. Also, Donovan forgets to mention this every time we start. We are live streaming over on YouTube. Head over to KWDC Radio over on YouTube and you get to catch us live. Come interact with us and we could give you a shout out. So, who has news?
I have the news.
No, you don't have news.
Yeah, I do have the news. Okay, so as I mentioned before we went on break, we're going to talk about some GTA 6 rumors real quick. This coming to you from IGN.com. GTA 6, or Grand Theft Auto 6 if you want to be all technical, the big VI people have been waiting for, is Rockstar Games' rumored sequel to Grand Theft Auto 5. GTA 6 will likely be released for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and if like Grand Theft Auto 5, how they did it for PC like later on. I mean, even though I feel like the new
that
Grand
was a mistake. They should have released it for PC at the same time. Oh, maybe not. From a marketing standpoint, it actually makes a lot of sense because they've effectively gotten a lot of people to double dip on this game multiple times.
Yeah, they did. Heck,
like, I, for instance, got it on 360 and on PS4. I know a lot of people who got it on 360 and then picked it up on PC later. So, by having this kind of like staggered release format, I think they've effectively like doubled their profits in a lot of ways.
I feel like, personally, I really, really like Grand Theft Auto on a console. Like, that's how I started Grand Theft Auto. That's how most people have, unless you're someone who played it originally at an arcade, the old kind.
Yeah.
But I feel like the type of game Grand Theft Auto is and the way it's moving, Grand Theft Auto 5 and 6, I feel like it should be PC. Like, it seems kind of meant for it, right?
Yeah, from playing on it on PC, of course, on PC driving controls are never really that great because driving with the WASD is not ever that great. But the inherently, because of how the mouse works, the aiming, the like third-person aiming and the first-person aiming is way, 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 way better. Because if you play Grand Theft Auto on the console, you know that they don't understand how to make shooters that well.
I think,
So the reticle has weird dead zones and weird acceleration, and they compensate for it by making like gross auto aim. Where you just snap to targets, but like from like a regular shooter standpoint, it doesn't control that well, but it controls way better on PC.
I really, really enjoyed Max Payne 3. Did you play it?
I have not played Max Payne 3.
So the only reason why Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't a total like mess when it comes to controls in that arena is because they borrowed so much of it from after Grand Theft Auto 4. They kind of got rid of all of that. Took most of the movement.
Because Grand Theft Auto 4 is even worse.
It was just, I don't even.
And if you go back to the older Grand Theft Auto games, they play really arcadey, so they kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
But when they started to make the transition to the more realistic like thing and got rid of the like locking on with health bars above enemies and stuff like that, they had to do something about the combat system.
And I mean, Grand Theft Auto, like Max Payne 3 was a really amazing, in my perspective, shooter. It was a third-person shooter. It's a very story-oriented. It's only in like, I think there's only 12 chapters in the game, but it was like really great. And GTA 5 is sort of like a dumbed-down version of the awesome shooter that was Max Payne 3. So I feel like if they went back to that, I mean, they could kind of salvage their whatever is left of their shooting.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, as much as I'm harping on GTA's controls, it's still like I remember GTA, some of the gunfights in GTA as being like some of the most memorable gunfights that I've ever gotten in video games. You know what I mean? Like the one where you're with Lamar, you're Franklin, you're with Lamar, and you guys get trapped in like the warehouse, and you have to fight out. That's one that always comes to my mind, even though the game doesn't control well, but it sets up scenarios where I guess you could say it just alleviates the bad gunplay by making it easier to shoot at targets and
they throw such a great story and like setup in there that
and you don't get thrown into giant combat arenas. You know what I mean? They throw like a couple enemies that you through a doorway for you to lock onto and take out.
I really love the transition from in the first level mission where you have to shoot people in Grand Theft Auto 5. It was pretty crazy. I mean, the bank robbery was very adrenaline pumping. But then after that, when you got to actually like really play the game for real, like it was very slow transition into like the heists where you got like an assault rifle and you're like busting through windows and racing. It's like a very nice transition. But back to Grand Theft Auto 6, the rumors that people have been talking about. While Grand Theft Auto Online was Rockstar Games' immediate focus following the release of Grand Theft Auto 5, the studio has already considered possibilities for Grand Theft Auto 6. And this is a quote from, I forgot the guy's name, but one of the developers, Rockstar president Leslie Benzies. He says, we've got about 45 years worth of ideas we want to do. We don't know what GTA 6 will be, but they're kind of moving things around, trying some things out. I think it's really cool. People have been latching on to stuff. There's a script, and I'm going to ignore it. Okay, so basically one of the hugest things people have been talking about is the possibility that they're going to go nationwide. It's going to be the whole U.S. in there.
Okay, that would be interesting.
Sounds kind of unfeasible, right?
It seemed like it would have always been a good direction for GTA Online to go. Like, imagine if in GTA Online, they started slowly by rolling out like more San Andreas maps. Like they were like, boom, San Fierro, right, which is the San Francisco equivalent. Right, that right there would blow my mind and be crazy. But then if they were like, here's a copy of Vice City, and actually, if you can go onto YouTube and people have remade Vice City in the GTA 5 engine.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really small map because it's literally just a mesh. It's just a texture overhaul over the meshes in the game that are already there.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see what Vice City might look like. With the high-res graphics.
Personally, I don't think they're going to do San Fierro, and I don't think they're going to do Las Venturas.
No, because I don't think they would do either of those. Venturas, maybe.
I think it's kind of,
but it's too small, and there's
it's
too much random stuff. It's too small.
It's very similar to the desert area that you drove around in.
But it would just all be desert area.
Yeah, and I don't know
how long. And there's no water because it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I mean, and they're not. I don't think they're gonna do San Fierro because just like they already incorporated bits of that in Liberty City and Grand Theft Auto 4, so like they kind of cover the base there. I feel like the only way for them to go is either, like they said, they're gonna try the Texas Mexico thing, maybe make a very small sort of U.S. map, very minute size with like a few key cities. That'd be interesting. Either that or Vice City. Everyone's talking about Vice City.
Yeah, it would be funny if they went the Texas-Mexico route because reportedly right now Rockstar is working on Red Dead Redemption 2, right? So if they're working on that right now, they're already working on a Texas-Mexico map, like a landscape, like a geographical map. And who's to say it wouldn't really be that difficult to just, build cities on top of the already structured geographical map that you have. Right, so I could see that being a possibility. Well, but I think Vice City would definitely be the fan favorite one to go to. I think
Vice City is where they're heading. I mean, after all the questionnaires they received about this kind of game that they aren't even really building 100% yet, Vice City was kind of the consensus where that fans agreed on. Yeah. They might be going in that direction. So switching things up, I'm gonna throw it to my man Joshua.
Okay, Micro Machines it is right now. So
we got time.
Super Smash Bros. Mod Project M is no longer in development from the IGN. So the development team behind the Project M has announced it will no longer be working on its popular mod for the Super Smash Bros. Brawl. We learned so much in the process for making Project M, but there's only so far that we could take soul skills in a volunteer project. The dev team explained on the Post Mod's official site, with this in mind, we made a difficult business decision. We're ready to finish development here and move on to a bigger and better ventures. While support for the Project M has ceased, that's not the end of the time in the team. In the meantime, we plan to be hard on the work on new projects built from the game grounds up. The Post adds, we can't spill the beans just yet, but know that we're towards a fresh start with a brand new design. Project M was created by over 50 volunteers with the aim of providing a more technically focused version of the Brawl that uses in the line. More balanced in the more competitive-minded GameCube predecessor Super Smash Bros. Melee. It even added a Skyloft theme stage on The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword.
Now, I do love Skyward Sword. I think Project M, I don't know, if they had to cut it, then they got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, with Project M being for the last, iteration of Smash Bros., it's probably time for them to move on. Who say they're not going to move on to Smash on the Wii U, though?
They could. They've already kind of explored a bit there. I think they could push it on there. But moving on, I'm going to introduce somebody that you guys on the air have probably never heard here. My sister.
Hello.
Yes.
It's Kira here. Okay, so I've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Holy slap, Samurai Jack is returning to TV. From Kotaku. Okay, so Genndy Tartakovsky's iconic cartoon series, Samurai Jack, which blended sci-fi and Japanese swordsman awesomeness, came to an end over a decade ago now. It's lived on in the form of comics since, but as long last, Jack is coming back to television for a whole new season of adventures. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, I grew up watching Samurai Jack. That was my stuff. I love the movies, the shows, the video games. Yeah. So Adult Swim just announced that Tartakovsky will return to the helm in the series. Currently in development at Cartoon Network Studios for a return on Toonami sometime in 2016. No more details were revealed other than an incredibly short teaser trailer that you can see the entirety of in the GIF on Kotaku and in a similar poster.
Now, okay, so Samurai Jack, Joey, did you?
Yeah, I used to watch Samurai Jack all the time. After school, I would go over to my cousin's house to get babysat or whatever, and we would just watch Samurai Jack all the time.
All right, Joshua, did you play Samurai Jack or did you watch it?
I watched Samurai Jack.
You did? Yeah. Oh, finally, something that all of us everyone say consensually we like, Samurai Jack. And I think anything where they're pushing, they're revamping the series, making it maybe darker, more adult, whatever they're going to do, make a new game, whatever they're doing with Samurai Jack.
Toonami is now part of Adult Swim officially, so they can go a more mature direction with it if they wanted to.
I think they definitely should. I mean, Samurai Jack scratched on a lot of interesting stuff, the art style, the storyboard that they never even 100% finished. I mean, I think it could go really far, but I'm going to throw it back to Kira again.
Yeah, I mean, I agree though, because Samurai Jack, I'm excited for it to come back because I feel like it never really was finished. I was kind of left on a cliff. I was like, okay, what's going to happen? What's next? So was that this year? It's coming out this year, or was that 2016?
They plan on doing more with it.
Yeah, they plan on doing more with it. That's super awesome.
Kind of the consensus.
Okay, moving on. We have Bloodborne. Severe's back online after unexplained downtime. So I'm not very familiar familiar with this, so bear with me. Okay, From Software recently shut down Bloodborne's online servers only a week after launching The Old Hunters, dubbed emergency maintenance. No explanation was given, but there was evidence players had found a loophole to play the DLC for free. Now it's back online, and the DLC exploit has apparently been gutted. Though it had originally been announced Bloodborne might be down for several days, it came back rather quickly. A patch updating Bloodborne to version 1.08 went live last night, and the ability to play online with others soon followed. The emergency server maintenance, which occurred from yesterday, the 1st of December, Tuesday, around 5:15, weird time, has been completed. Also in regards to the issues like NPC survivor state not handed over properly, which occurred in the previous update, we have provided a latest update 1.08 where such issues have been fixed. We are deeply sorry to cause such inconvenience. Yeah, I'm guessing that's a quote, a direct quote.
Yeah, it's
from
a
the
direct
quote. Please apply the latest update 1.08 and enjoy playing Bloodborne. So can you go more in depth of what is Bloodborne?
Well, let Joshua do it.
I don't know Bloodborne.
Oh, okay. I know Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a third-person action game where you are basically in hellish Victorian, London.
Okay.
And there's demons and stuff, and you have to kill the demons.
Now, there's a bit of history in Bloodborne. It was made, of course, by the same people who made Dark Souls 2 and 1 and then Demon Souls. And, everyone thought Dark Souls, I know we're about to go on break here, everybody, but everyone said Bloodborne was kind of like the next Dark Souls. And then they're making Dark Souls 3. They did.
And actually, even more so, FromSoft said that they're probably not going to keep doing all these series. They want to branch out and do different games. So after Dark Souls 3, we might not even get a Bloodborne 2 or any extension of the Dark Souls series or anything.
I hope we do.
Yeah, I hope that we do.
Yeah, I hope we do, even though I have no idea about it. I hope we do.
All right, well, anyway, we're about to go on a break right here on KWDC 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. You're listening to KWDC Gaming. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The KWDC Gaming Show.
Thanks for listening in on the KWDC's Gaming Show. Please check us out on Facebook and Twitter at kwdc.gaming and let us know what you think. And if you do, please like our page. Thanks again from the KWDC's Gaming Show, live from 3 to 4, only on KWDC 93.5 Stockton.
KWDC LP Stockton 93.5 FM.
I'm a huge fan of Lapis Lazuli. And you know what? I would say, if I was to judge you, I would say you are probably like Peridot, Lapis Lazuli, or perhaps Opal, who's Pearl and Amethyst Hue. So I'm gonna go with Lapis for you.
We gotta try to make sure our laws keep up with technology, and that's nearly impossible. So we'll find. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of revisions and new laws on the books.
Mommy, I'm gonna sing the baby a lullaby. Beautiful dreamer, in the first stage of sleep, your brain waves are low and come regularly. Soon you will be in REM dreams, where your eyes are moving and waveforms increase.
By the 6th grade, many girls lose interest in math and science, so it's up to parents to help keep their dreams alive. Go to girlsgotech.org.
A public service announcement brought to you by Girl Scouts of USA and Ad Council.
Red Defender, you've got to help us. Mole Man has fired his darkening missile towards the sun. It'll put the world in shadow.
Don't worry. Too late to catch the missile. I'll just fly quickly around the Earth in reverse time.
The Red Defender begins to circle the Earth faster and faster until his momentum literally changes Earth's rotation on its axis.
I'm back, citizens. No need to thank me. Strange. It's dark in the middle of the afternoon. And where is everyone? You, old man, with a flashlight.
I was young just a minute ago.
I must have gone the wrong way and sped up time. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Saving the world isn't easy. Saving a life is. Just 1 pint of blood can save up to 3 lives. To find out more, go to bloodsaves.com. A public service message brought to you by the Ad Council.
KWDC Gaming Show.
and welcome back to the KWDC Gaming Show on 93.5, the voice of Stockton. Today is Wired Wednesday, where we go over some of the news in the gaming world. I'm going to toss it over to Donovan now to talk about some indie games dealing with Black Friday.
I hear sneaky snitch music.
He does not like my sneaky snitch music. It is the best. And I just realized I probably tell you. Okay, so every time you hear us play Sneaky Snitch, we're getting it from Kevin MacLeod. I think he was the guy who made it. And then we get it from this YouTuber. MacLeod. Yeah, I'm terrible at names. I can't say any of them.
You are terrible at names.
Not worse than you, though. Okay, the channel is Orbital Music right here on YouTube. You can find it pretty much anywhere. Speaking of YouTube, super forgot to mention, we're live on YouTube. I know Josh mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to say it again. Live on YouTube, yeah.
Look at us, man. Look at us. We're great.
Come watch us.
So pretty. If you're just like, man, those voices are so enchanting.
Interesting. What do they look like?
Yeah, you can head over to YouTube right there at KWDC Radio Presents, and then we're going to be there. Or KWDC Gaming, either one. We're there. We're there everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to switch up the topics. Super Black Friday Sweep has all the fun and potential injury of Black Friday from the safety of your home. Doesn't that sound fun, huh?
Yeah.
Be safe and dangerous.
Yeah, that's the best. Okay, so as you guys know, on Wired Wednesdays, I like to throw in my indie games just because I'm a huge fan of the indie community. This is a Super Black Friday Sweep. It's just a really interesting and funny game. Perfect time to release it. About Black Friday, so I'm going to give you the description. Are you at home, safe and far away from the fabulous sales and tantalizing discounts of Black Friday? Or are you lying on the floor of a Best Buy, broken, bloodied, but determined to get that flat screen TV over for 10% off? Either way, you can probably scrounge up 45 seconds to play Super Black Friday Sweep, a game about the constant struggle for great deals. Grab the red price items for the best value, beat down other customers who have the things you want, acquire so much credit card debt that it will take you 17 years just to pay for these few moments of consumer bliss. Truly, this is the most wonderful time of the year, and I think it's actually hilarious. It's kind of like it makes fun of all the rush of Black Friday at the same time.
Kind of a parody, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love indie games that are sort of, that's what I like about indie games, because you can quickly develop a game about like a simple subject and release it, and people still have the fun of playing it without the worry that you're not going to be able to make enough money to cover the cost of making the game itself. It's like you haven't really been able to do that before, so it's really awesome. Love indie games. Super Black Friday Sweep is available to play for free from the developer's site. For more information on the game and developer Jim Bending, you can follow them on YouTube and Twitter. All right, I'm throwing it to Joshua.
All right, this comes from Destructoid.com. The Lab Zero's Indivisible hits its funding goal. So, Indivisible, an action RPG from the minds behind the Skullgirls, was just funded through an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign. The drive hit its goal after receiving a 30-day extension from the Indiegogo administrators. With a mere 3 days to go, 8% of the money have been allotted for taxes and fees, with the rest going towards development. Lab Zero took to Twitter and in celebration moments after the campaign hit its goal.
Okay, so did you played Skullgirls?
I played the demo.
You didn't play the actual game?
No, it was too pricey on.
Well, okay, so
Joey,
here's what I want to say about Lab Zero. They have a really, really good art style and art in their games. Like the art direction in their games is fantastic. And a little tidbit about this specifically, after it got funded, they announced that Red from, Transistor, that's that game.
Transistor.
It's another game, I want to say maybe by Supergiant. I don't remember what team it's by, but Transistor, it's another indie game, but the main character from that, Red, is going to be in Indivisible. So that's cool. And if you haven't played Transistor, go play Transistor because it's fantastic.
Is it an amazing game? Transistor, what's the game like?
It's kind of like a top-down isometric action. I wouldn't really say it's an RPG, but it's like a narrative story, and the gameplay is interesting, and it's got like a lot of it's like cyberpunk, but like bluesy and like jazzy, and it's got a really cool aesthetic, and it's got fantastic music and a really cool art style.
Well, speaking of fantastic music and interesting gameplay, I promised the listeners something earlier. What's all that? Chaos. Can you hear the chaos?
You can hear a lot of chaos.
Yeah, a lot of very loud
so
chaos.
much chaos in that game.
Gunfire,
Okay,
chaos.
so that is we're going to play that this whole time, but that's some sound from Rainbow Six Siege, the big Tom Clancy game that came out. Tom Clancy's doing a lot of amazing things. They got The Division coming out, which is a game that I've only seen one other one like it, but it wasn't nearly as advanced. Obviously Rainbow Six Siege, and they have that other one. It's like
Wildlands.
Wildlands. Is that Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon, yeah.
Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now, I was afraid Wildlands might be too similar to The Division.
Yeah, but it looks... If you've been paying any attention to The Division is really rooted in its, like, RPG elements. You know, so, like, the character level's a big thing, and, like, the item level and the weapons are a big thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, it's very hinging upon character upgrades.
Whereas I don't think Wildlands is going to be quite... Like, I don't think it's going to be an RPG in that sense. I think Wildlands is going to be a tactical shooter where you do things on the map and whatnot, but it's not going to be...
Hopefully.
You know,
So
like
you think
that.
it might just be like a giant, open, constant MOBA rather than...
No, not necessarily,
No?
but, like, I don't really think... Like, I don't think there's going to be character levels, and I don't think there's going to be, like, abilities per se. Like, I don't think it's going to be an RPG in the same way that The Division's going to be an RPG.
You're right, because in the trailer, in The Division, they really showcased, like, the sweet payoffs the guy got from, like, going around collecting these extra little scraps and building up his weapons and knowing where this area was and bringing his team over here and really playing like any other RPG, but only as a shooter. And Outlands was more of a... I mean, I don't know. It was very interesting.
Well,
they showed like a lot of story and a lot of graphics, but other than that, it was mostly just a lot of action. That's what I saw.
Based on the gameplay that they showed, they basically just showed how you can, like, the multiple ways you can take an outpost. But it didn't show any, like, RPG elements related to that outpost. It just showed a bunch of outposts that you could take. So it makes me think that it's going to be just more of a shooter, like a base shooter, not with as many RPG elements thrown in.
I mean, if they released 2 RPGs, like Tom Clancy, they're usually pretty smart about that. I don't think they would. Hopefully they don't. If they did, that'd be crazy.
They would be cutting their market too heavily.
I can't imagine. So hopefully it's just a very awesome action
Well, we
game.
got way off topic.
Yeah, Joshua, I know Tom Clancy getting lost. Tell us some of the techie stuff about Rainbow Six Siege.
Okay, so first and foremost, let me make it clear that the Siege is still very much a strategic game, despite an increased emphasis on the action. The crux is engrossed in the Siege concept, where 2 teams of players are placed by the opposing sides of offense and defense. The former is tasked with infiltrating a specific area, using a building of some sort, and the latter will put up barricades and probably booby-trap the zone to protect an objective. Defensive capabilities are quite versatile beyond placing traps, with the ability to patch up a window of a la Call of Duty Zombies mode or deploy items for the rest of your team. The sheer interplay that comes up with the simple premise is lovely. There are many options of breaching and of defensive options that no one game is in the same. Players can rappel up almost any windows and break in, sneak around and breach doors with charges of good old-fashioned sledgehammer or blow up walls, and create new entrances. The concept of a destructible environment is not new. Games like the original Red Faction have been doing it for all ages, but the development team really shows through here, and wait, where have I gone now?
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
Okay, well, with a good balance of destruction to keep things tense. Donovan.
Okay, so you know what? Part of the variety comes from the 20 operators, which are essentially the different classes in Siege. Archetypes range from a bruiser to a brainy tech girl to a medic, but all of them have a unique twist gameplay-wise that sets them apart from one another. It's also imperative that your team works together, choosing combinations that complement each ability. This is partially forced by the fact that the game doesn't allow 2 people on a team to pick the same operator. In the end, though, any combo works relatively well as long as the team is on top of things, and players don't run blindly into rooms without thinking of all the options available. And they really stressed how you could, like, you know what, if you don't like that approach, you don't like this doorway, you don't like where they're coming from, make another hole in the wall, run through that.
You know, I think that's the real crux of this multiplayer experience, is that, you know, even though it's kind of limited, and a lot of people have been comparing it to Battlefront in a lot of ways, because, you know, they're expensive, they don't have a lot of single player components, and they're, you know, mostly multiplayer games. Whereas Battlefront comes off as kind of shallow, Rainbow Six doesn't come off as shallow at all.
Layers.
Because it's so deep in the, like, just the different approaches to combat, and with all the different abilities, with the different operator loadouts. Depending on how you build your squad with the people that you're playing with and what character you decide to use, you have so many different options in terms of engaging in relatively not very many game modes, and for the most part the game modes are pretty much the same game mode, but with a slight twist. It's just one team's defending an area and one team has to assault that area.
Yeah.
It might be a bomb or it might be a hostage, but it's still relatively the same gameplay.
Yeah.
And even though there's not very many maps and the maps aren't very big, it really just the amount of gameplay opportunities that are provided by the micro destruction in the maps and the different gadgets that you get creates a completely different multiplayer shooter experience that's totally fresh from anything we've had this year.
I like that. Like, unlike most games, when you throw a grenade, in Rainbow Six Siege, it doesn't just leave a charred mark and maybe a little bit of shrapnel on the ground. Yeah. It will leave a round impression. A little bit of the top of the couch torn off, maybe a dent in the wall. Mm-hmm. A chair might be blown to bits.
It might blow the wall out, and then create a new line of sight for your team.
It's really awesome.
That's the beauty of it. Is there's so many opportunities to just do tactics. There's so many opportunities.
This guy taking a silenced weapon, because he was the team was sneaking by, they didn't know he was there, and he pushed it against the wall and he shot little holes in the wall
so you could see through it,
and then saw through them, and then marked where the guys were, told his dudes, and then they got in position based off that. I'm imagining somebody maybe sneaking up through the house, putting bombs on the walls and blowing it out, and then
it's even more than that. On the defensive side, you can set up traps and set up rooms where you can set peepholes in so you can monitor where they're coming around. It's just, like I said, it's totally fresh, and it's totally something that we haven't had with multiplayer shooters for a long time.
I really, really am excited for it because like you said, we haven't had anything. I've been waiting for a game like Rainbow Six Siege for the longest time. A game that's really deeply ingrained on not just the multiplayer function of the game and the map size and how good the graphics look, but the physics and just the different ways you can approach a game. When you're in combat, not saying I want these games to be an ultimate reflection of real combat, because that'd be horrible.
Yeah.
But a game that you can really kind of take it each way you want. You can go through this wall. You can, it's just the openness of the game's what I love. You can go around the back and climb up the building. Drop through the top, or you can just straight up put a big bomb on the wall, blow it up, running their guns blazing.
Yeah,
you can
take
play it
two dudes with riot shields and then put the rest of the dudes with assault rifles behind them and just barge in the room.
They just the awesome different trailers for the game are amazing. I want to say, just because we're about to go on break pretty soon, Joey, if you were to play the game, how do you think you would play it?
I usually play stealthy.
Stealthy?
Yeah, I usually sneak around, usually away from my team. I like to do the Spider-Man upside down on windows and pop out the tops of it and shoot from upside down. That's fantastic.
It's the best. Joshua, how do you think you'd play it?
Well, pretty much I will still never pick it up.
Because he doesn't play cool games.
Yep. This guy has never played any sort of shooter or any game that anyone else in the world has played. He plays the rarest JRPGs.
Yes,
and
I do.
I understand. I used to live that life. I used to play all the obscure Japanese games.
Kira, how do you think you'd play the game?
I really don't know. I think I'd just follow the lead, probably, of the person I was playing with, and I'd be the backup man. So I'm okay, whatever you need me to do, I got that.
When in doubt, follow the riot shield.
Yeah,
Kira
exactly.
likes to play heavy armor, the guy in the back with all the armor.
But
I
like stealth too. I love snipers, so that's
not very
my
good at
thing.
it.
I'm not good at it.
She's
really.
good at sniping. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I am. Better than you.
All right. Well, anyway, this has been KWDC Gaming. We'll be right back after these short messages and other music and whatever else you're going to hear during the break. Remember to stay tuned for more gaming news and an interesting thing that I have planned for the end. So you'll get to see it if you stick around.
The KWDC Gaming Show.
It's the KWDC's Gaming Show, live from 3 to 4 p.m. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter at kwdc.gaming to find out more. And listen in here on KWDC 93.5 Stockton.
Hello?
Hi, Bill? This is George Dewey from up the street.
Oh, hey, George. How you doing?
Good. Say, I noticed you've been walking to work these days instead of driving. And I don't quite know how to say this, but...
But what?
But your butt. Your butt. I think I found your butt on my front lawn. Have you recently lost it?
As a matter of fact, I have, George. It's about time someone noticed.
well, it was kind of hard to miss, if you know what I mean. Anyways, would you like it back?
Would I like it back? No, not really.
So it's okay if I throw it out?
Sure, that's fine. Take it easy, George.
Small step number 8. Walk instead of driving whenever you can. It's just one of the many small steps you can take to help you become a healthier, well, you. Get started at www.smallstep.gov and take a small step to get healthy.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Paul McCartney on behalf of RAD. If you're drinking, you can't drive my car or any car. And remember, don't drink and drive. It's just not worth it.
A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
KWDC Gaming Show.
Yeah. No, okay. Welcome back to KWDC Gaming right here on 93.5 FM, the voice of Stockton. I am your host for today, Donovan Mazuski, here with
Joshua,
Joey,
and Kira.
All right. And today we've been talking about a number of interesting things, from Grand Theft Auto 6 rumors to the new game Rainbow Six Siege. I was not here yesterday for TBA Tuesdays where we talked about all the new releases, so I had to do a bit of my own today. What did you guys mainly talk about yesterday?
Mostly talked about Rainbow Six, of course. We talked a lot about Just Cause, because that also came out yesterday. I've been seeing that is not running very well on very many people's things. Apparently it's having a lot of issues on PCs, probably the place it shouldn't have a lot of issue, where like I watched quite a few, people show the game off, and, even on their competent rigs, it was still running at, sometimes it would just for like 3 minutes run at like 20 frames a second.
Ooh, never want that.
And yeah, you don't ever want that. And then of course I've also been hearing reports that it's not running well on Xbox One either. So, and then of course we also talked yesterday about 15-minute load times, because it's trying to connect to the servers, that the servers are overloaded and they're not pinging back fast enough. And so Square Enix has some things to work out. They're going to have to release a patch that might optimize it a little bit better and take care of whatever this loading issue they have going on is.
Okay, well, you know what? GameSpot.com released, man, I'm really sad. I was really looking forward to it, and now they have all these problems. No, right?
It seems like every game's like this nowadays.
Yeah, I know. Every game, they build it up so big, and then they release it, and then they have problems.
Even Fallout comes out, and it just doesn't run that great on consoles.
You bought it on console or PC?
I bought it on console, just because out of morbid curiosity, I wanted to see how bad it ran.
Did you get it all for PC, or just gonna wait?
I'm gonna get it on PC as well.
Okay. Yeah, you Fallout.
I typically double dip on the Fallout games
because it's just, you got to, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Xbox One. I believe this was I know I got it from GameSpot.com. I think they made it as well. They released a Xbox One 2015 report card. So Xbox One, send in your grades, and they talked a huge list of factors and opinions about the Xbox One, and you know what? It was way too long to do on the show. It'd be like 4 of our shows stacked up against each other. So I kind of took the general verdict, and the gist was that Xbox One has a lot of problems. Not terribly more than you would expect.
No, definitely not as many as they had at launch.
Yeah, and they fix a lot of the things with patches and software updates. But the general consensus that all these different reviewers came upon was that the problems that Xbox One has are made worse by the fact that it's competitor. PlayStation does so many things that they get wrong so well.
And the funny thing about it is I hear a lot of I listen to a lot of games journalists and people in the games media who discuss things like this, and a lot of them come down to the fact that Microsoft in the last generation of consoles with the 360 made so many innovations, right? With the console always being online, or You know, like who would have thought that was a thing back in the Xbox, like original Xbox days, when you would only be on Xbox Live when you logged into Halo 2, you know what I mean? Like it blew people's minds that like, wait, I'm always online as long as I'm signed into the console. And then, you know, with the party system and like the easy user face and, you know, the way the store worked, they really like, and achievements, one of the biggest ones, they really innovated. Like they were the big innovators of that generation.
Yeah.
Right. And Sony was so actively trying to play catch up, you know, adding trophies late. Some PlayStation games don't even have trophies to this date.
The early ones.
And we get to today, and it seems like it's flip-flopped. Microsoft learned nothing from itself from the last generation and made a bunch of UI errors on, you know, the Xbox One. The party system doesn't work as well. The storefront doesn't look as clean. And Sony learned from Microsoft and fixed all that stuff up. The party system works exactly like it does on the PlayStation that it did on the Xbox 360.
When I look at continue.
The the like user interface, like the friends list for the most part, and like most like it's coming from the 360, being a primarily 360 gamer that through that whole generation, and then deciding to jump on the PlayStation bandwagon because what they were offering to, like, you know, when the console first came out, seemed like a better deal to me. I wasn't too hot on all the, you know, TV stuff that Microsoft was doing and the Kinect and whatnot. So I got a PlayStation and I immediately felt at home with it. You know what I mean? Like it immediately, because they learned so much from the 360, they made it easy for 360 gamers to understand. So when they popped in, they're like, oh, I get this console.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's one of the reasons that they're really leading this generation.
It's funny because like when Xbox 360 came out, they really like, online gameplay. That was their biggest selling point, right? And then now the PlayStation 4 has come out, and now that, you know, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and like, you know, just games as a whole, you know, online play isn't as a big deal anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of like supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Right.
A PlayStation 4, they really showcase the sort of the easier way you'll be able to communicate from one player to another and jump them in and out of the game. I mean, Xbox One also showcased that. It's obviously the next gen. That's what they're going for. But I feel like PlayStation 4, unlike in last gen, they're kind of leading that in this current race. You know, people dissing Xbox One so hard, makes me sad.
And, you know, the thing is, at this point, I would recommend an Xbox One to somebody. You know, like I wouldn't be like, oh, don't get an Xbox One. If you want an Xbox One and the Xbox One seems like it has exclusives that are more for you and more your pace, and maybe, you know, you have kids that are really into Minecraft, because it's owned by Microsoft, usually that stuff goes to Xbox first. Xbox is not a bad console choice. You know, it's just as competent of a console as the PlayStation 4 at this point. Has some issues, but the PlayStation 4 has some issues.
When I look at Xbox One and when I look at like Xbox One, sorry, not Xbox One. When I look at Microsoft and Sony, I'm reminded of Microsoft and Apple. Not saying, you know, just I feel like they kind of have the same dynamic.
Yeah.
But switching things up, I'm gonna throw it to Joshua if he's ready.
Okay, nobody's gonna stop me on this one because I'm gonna go into my micro machines.
Go into it.
So this is from Gametsu. Hatsune Miku Project Diva X for the PS Vita launches in March 24th in Japan. So the PS Vita of Hatsune Miku Project Diva X will launch in Japan on March 24, 2016. Sega announced it will cost. Pre-orders include an arcade M card featuring the game's main visual. Sega also has announced a Hatsune Miku Project Diva X accessory set, which will include original shoulder pouch for your PS Vita and a cleaning cloth featuring the game's main visual. A PlayStation 4 version of Hatsune Miku Project Diva X is planned for the release in Japan in the fall of 2016. Next up from Niche Gamer, we have the Mother 2 soundtrack is getting a remastered vinyl release. So we recently learned via Anime News Network that Mother 2, aka Earthbound in the West, will be remastering its soundtrack onto vinyl. And to you just like try to stop me here. The
slow your roll down a little bit.
The vinyl release includes 4 sides totaling 24 tracks from the Super Nintendo Cult Classic. The soundtrack will be released sometime in 2016, and you can pre-order the vinyl over on the Shop to Shop Funko store website. They're also provided a sample for the soundtracks, which you can listen to the link that will be on our Facebook. And finally, we have the new Danganronpa V3 has entirely new story, new characters. So this week, Famitsu has revealed some new details for the new Danganronpa V3 Mina no Koreyashi Shingaki, or in English, Everyone's Semester for Killing.
Wow,
the game will have an entirely new story and setting, and it doesn't follow the same character seen in the Hope's Peak Academy. However, the series' mascot Monokuma, as well as its main mechanics and system, will be included. Further information is set to be revealed during the Danganronpa Project press conference on December 2nd. New Danganronpa V3 launching on PlayStation 4 and PS Vita in Japan 2016. From Kotaku.
Yes, I'm glad you sourced that. Okay, so Kira, do you know what Danganronpa is?
Not at all.
Not okay. So Joshua, could you explain? Like Kira, many of our viewers or listeners may not know what that is.
The Danganronpa series is pretty much a visual novel on basing off murders and pretty much a bear called Monokuma terrorizing all human civilization, killing them, all that type of stuff.
So what does the player do?
You just all I know, I only have the second one. Pretty much you're just solving like, okay, who's killing who.
So you're like a mystery solver.
Yes.
Okay.
A detective, they may call that.
You're a detective, mystery solver, also known as
mystery team, right? Okay, so Kira, would you like to let us know what this is?
Okay, so Buzz Lightyear is the hero Fallout 4 deserves, from Kotaku. Okay, so Paladin Danse, you seem familiar. The gruff voice, the commitment to duty, the giant sci-fi armor. Where have I seen you before? Oh, right. This mod by Trash Lizard brings Danse Pixar doppelganger Buzz Lightyear into Fallout 4 by way of some custom power armor. All you need to do is set Danse to be your companion. Equip him with the custom gear and you're set.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because, I mean, Bethesda games, I feel like personally are pretty heavily moddable.
Yeah, they are always. The mod communities for those games go crazy.
Yeah, and they have so many problems with the hackers. I mean, like, so many guys, like, for a while, like, for example, Skyrim, they were so lenient. They're like, you know what, hey, you guys, no here, no there, no there, don't do that. But then, at the same time, other modders, they were letting slip. Like, they made, there's so many Skyrim mods that just...
Yeah, well, no, you have to realize that typically... Bethesda doesn't care or really monitor the mod scene because it doesn't really apply to them because it's all like third-party stuff. Nothing that the mod scene does really like can come back and hurt them. So of course on Steam, where you're probably seeing a lot of your mods, those are heavily, like sifted through and made sure that only like certain content goes through. But if you go to where most modders go and where like I'm used to going, it's called the Nexus Mod Network.
Oh yes, I forgot about that.
You can just get whatever you want there. They have tons of mods. Yeah. They have, just like that's where most of the mods go.
I remember there were 3 recent scandals. When I say recent, I mean like sometime within the last 6 months in which a modder, they made something and then they tried to sort of market from it and they got shut down. Not all of them. I think only 2 of them were Bethesda, but the other one was
I mean like if and that does happen sometimes if like somebody tries to remake like a Bethesda game in another game engine or like I remember there were people working on making Morrowind in the Skyrim engine, and I don't remember if they got shut down or not. I don't think they did. Yeah. So I don't think Bethesda cares about that stuff, but they care if you're gonna like take their game and then make a new game out of it and then try to sell it or something.
Well, but you know what? Since we have 2 minutes left, Bethesda, I kind of like their general attitude toward the modding community. But since we have a minute and a half left and there is a special holiday coming up, Joey, would you do me the honors of listing?
Right. Okay. So we got some games about Christmas, the holiday that everybody's looking forward to, I guess. I don't know if you don't celebrate Christmas, then this doesn't really apply to you,
right?
Joey still.
But of course we have a lot of Christmas themed games. As they come out over the years, people try to put out games to play off the like whole Christmas frenzy. Most of them are old, but starting at the top, we have 10 Christmas Lemmings. I don't know if anybody played Lemmings, but there's that. Christmas Nights into Dreams, which is a Dreams game, I think, for the Dreamcast. Special Delivery Santa's Christmas Chaos, which sounds crazy. Duke Nukem Nuclear Winter, which Duke Nukem, all about that. Frosty the Snowman, aka Frosty Busy Night. Don't know about that noise. Die Hard Trilogy, don't know how that's Christmas. Days Before Christmas, spelled D-A-Z-E. Batman Returns. James Pond 2, codename RoboCod, aka Super James Pond, and 1, of course, Home Alone.
Okay, so James Pond 2 is not. I don't like the game. Because just the title alone, I have no idea what the game's like. The title makes me sick. But this program was made possible by the San Joaquin Delta College, the Delta College Radio Television Department, the KWDC Foundation, and members of KWDC, and of course listeners like you. Thank you. We would like to say thank you to our management team, our general manager William Story, our station manager Governor Tom Zuski, our program director Mark Leon, our assistant program directors Andy B. Real and Pistol Pete, our production manager Dante Henry, our operations manager Matt Mackey, and of course our traffic and continuity director Sir Taj Bagu. Thank you guys. You guys work hard. Be sure to stay tuned for Movie Talk.
KWDC.gaming is for daily updates on our Facebook and Twitter, and the KWDC Gaming Show is live from 3 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, only on KWDC 93.5 Stockton.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Josh Aguilar of La Cultura. You can listen to us Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 p.m., and this is what you'll hear.
You made it just on time. I'm going to be talking about tamales.
You become superior because you have the confidence to do the things you ought to be doing.
We're all in a way kind of responsible for love.
Because everybody goes through struggles. You're going to fall sometime, but you got to build yourself back up, know what you got to do to take care of some business.
So don't forget, Monday through Friday, 2 to 3 p.m. on KWDC 93.5 FM.
This is